My name is Andrea Weathersby. I'm a 21-year-old law enforcement major at Western Illinois University. I have been on a long journey, and tonight I want to share my story and some of the most important things that I've learned along the way. For a while, I had a really happy childhood. I grew up on the west side of Chicago in a two-parent household and the youngest of six siblings. We all had a tight bond. We played together from hide and seek in the house to dress up, and I was the one being dressed up. My dad was a chef, so he did most of the cooking at home. I remember how we all gathered together in the living room, eating his delicious meals while we watched the bootleg movies he used to buy off the streets. His hard work and dedication to being a family man really inspired me to be just as hardworking and determined. My mother was a bit stricter and closed off growing up, but she was just as kind hearted and determined to see her children succeed. They were a team and they kept everything together for us. My last birthday with my dad is one of my fondest memories. I was turning 9 years old and he hosted a sleepover for me and my friends. He let us spray him with silly string and stayed up all night eating snacks until we tired ourselves out. Unfortunately, a month later, he passed away from a sudden heart attack. During the day while I was at school, I was confused. I was only 9 and everything just changed for me. My mother now had to raise five of us with less support and didn't want to stay in the house where my dad had passed away at, so we moved in with my grandma. Over time, my siblings went with our other grandparents, so my family unit that I was used to immediately got smaller. Soon, my siblings was getting into a lot of trouble at school, staying out too late, the typical teenage things, but with all these mistakes around me, I was afraid to make any of my own. In my mother's efforts to keep us afloat, I began to see what true resilience looked like. The main point of consistency in my life was school, which gave me the structure I felt I was missing at home. In high school, I explored who I wanted to be. I took up culinary arts like my dad, and it was really fun. I got closer to my community through service work, and I consistently got involved at school and work and school activities to stay out the way of risk and dangers. I learned how to study on my own, and even during COVID-19, I researched scholarships for college. Change was my new normal, and I grew up quicker than I would like to. College came with new challenges. After graduation, I attended Bradley University in Peoria, but I didn't have enough scholarships to really afford it. Plus, it wasn't as welcoming as I had hoped to be, and balancing schoolwork and social life was really hard, and I like to think that I'm a social butterfly. I was isolated and started to learn that just what's important as having resilience is having a support system. To be there when you feel you've done all you can and have nothing left. I did have people. During my senior year of high school, I was introduced to Chicago police officer William Martinez, and he's here, by the way. Oh, he's right there. Will encouraged me to join the Youth District Advisory Council as a part of the One Summer Chicago program. In that program, I built my own leadership skills and also learned that there's cops that work full time with the community, something I never knew. That was also where I met an organization called Build and their whole Building Futures team. At One Summer Chicago orientation, I just walked to a builder in charge and asked if she knew about any scholarships that I can apply for. Turns out she did, but it was Friday and they were due on Sunday. And it required a recommendation letter from a Build mentor. I literally had 48 hours to complete all the requirements. It was crazy. But they came together for me immediately, and I applied, and I won a $5,000 Abbey scholarship. Thank you for the Abbey family. It was just enough to pay out my last semester at Bradley and my first semester at Western, which was a huge weight off my shoulders. That following summer, I was in the middle of one of the worst periods of my life. I was in between jobs. I didn't have a way to pay for that upcoming school year, and I had just transferred to WIU without any school resources. I had recently lost my sister that July after putting up a great fight with lupus, which I took really hard. This was all very painful for me. I truly didn't know what the rest of the year would look like. I just knew I couldn't give up, so I tried everything. I had met Ebony Porche once I won my first scholarship with Bill and reached out to her. After talking to her for a while, she told me I can apply again. And if I completed the rest of the application in time, she would write my letter. And I did. Ebony stayed in touch and became a key support at school, especially when things were so hard. I wasn't sure if I was going to win again, so I took the Chicago police written exam in case I couldn't stay in college. After about a month to the school year, I found out I won a $10,000 scholarship. I also passed the CPD written exam, by the way, and this was all within the same week. I was just really happy that I didn't have to leave school to join the police force so soon. But even Officer Martinez was proud of me for prioritizing school. What I mean to say is that they all made sure I knew I was not alone. They helped me find the money and the strength to keep going. I'm now a third year law enforcement major, and the next year I will be the first out of my siblings to attend and graduate from college. I'm the vice president of the Black Student Association and recently joined the National Association of Colored Women's Clubs Incorporated. Growing up, I used to set goals for myself without any real plan to get there. But now I've learned to build a vision of my future and to set goals to reach that future. I've also started to appreciate every step of my journey, even the painful ones. I wouldn't be as strong as I am without every experience that I've gone through. I learned really young how to advocate for myself in everything, and I worked really hard for everything I've accomplished. But I've also grown up, I learned to seek help when you need it. I couldn't have done any of this alone. I am what can happen when you choose to not give up on yourself and allow people to support you and stay with you. And now I want to be that for others. I want to be the blueprint for my nieces and nephews, as well as the young people in my neighborhood. A role model of resilience, someone who works hard in school, prioritizes their mental health, holds a steady job, and most importantly, someone who's transparent about personal struggles. It's sometimes not about how you start, but it's all about how you choose to finish. To everyone here tonight, to build a better future for our communities, we have to listen and care for our youth. To any young people here tonight, I'll leave you with this. Make sure you surround yourself with like minded, goal oriented people who care about you. Change will always happen, but stay true to yourself, authentically you, and value every lesson you learn along the way. You are a work in progress, so please give yourself grace. But work hard to be the change you want to see and allow people like Bill, Officer Martinez, your family, and loved ones to help you because you don't have to do anything alone. Finally, I wouldn't be in this position if I didn't allow God to be the front runner in my life. One of my favorite scriptures, 2 Peter 3:9. The Lord is not slow to fulfill his promises, as some count slowness, but is patient towards you, not wishing that any should perish, but that all shall reach repentance. I want to give a special thanks to my mom as well. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. I truly appreciate you and everything that you do. The constant support and continue to give me in all that I do. Thank you for your time and support today. Enjoy the rest of the evening.